Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Universi-Tea.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. This week, we went down to the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. We interviewed a friend there.
Yeah, and it's spooky themed.
It is spooky themed, yeah. Throughout the episode, we have put a little ghost story, a little spooky event here and there, just to keep you in the mood for Halloween.
Yeah, so after the first interview, we'll hit you with some ghost stories, and then we'll hit you with some more ghost stories, and then we'll hit you with the second interview.
It's ghost stories 24/7 this episode. Don't worry, there'll be no shortage. And there's some pretty good ones, so make sure you're sitting down.
Yeah, and ready to get spooked.
I hope you enjoy.
Learn how them schools be with Universi-Tea. Tea time with Kevin and Harry. So, Mina, welcome to Universi-Tea.
I'm so happy to be here. I literally can't even express. I've been waiting for this moment.
Well, thank you for having us all the way in Charleston.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys made the drive out here.
Yeah, this is the first time we've driven more than
Half an hour.
We drove 9 hours.
You drove 9 hours.
We hear, according to you, Charleston party's a little different.
Yeah, we do. We're kind of all raging alcoholics. So
we got some Stellas and
this is a Sea Quench Ale.
Yes.
By Dogfish Head.
Cheers to Universal Beers. Boom.
Wow.
What was the biggest thing that attracted you about Charleston?
Yeah.
And then does that hold up to today?
So, I mean, maybe this kind of set the tone for Charleston, but there was nothing that really attracted me to Charleston except that I knew I was going to get in. And so,
we all feel it.
Because I was, senior year, this feels like ages ago. I mean,
we're seniors now. We're so old.
Yeah. But, senior year, I'm applying to colleges, and I'm like, oh, I want to do music business, music industry. I don't want to go into performance. And I ran into an old Wildcat, and she was like, yeah, Mandy Spywak.
Oh, my sister knows her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on my sister's soccer team.
So
shout out to Mandy.
I remember actually Mandy was like, you should apply to the arts management program at College of Charleston. And I'm like, oh, really? What's it like there? And she's like, it's really cool. It's a burgeoning arts program. They're really up and coming. There's a huge art scene down there. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll consider it. And I applied because I was like, oh, looking at the stats and stuff, I was like, okay, it won't be that hard for me to get in. I was really trying to get away from home.
Gotcha.
And so I was like, okay, it's close enough to home, but also still
9 hours away from home.
Yeah, it's 9 hours away from home.
Yeah.
And then they were the first school that got back to me out of the 7 I applied to, and they're like, you're in, and we're also going to give you a big scholarship.
Oh, nice.
So, and when it came down to it, I was picking between CFC and a different school, but they didn't give me any money, and they were a lot more expensive. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go at CFC. It'll be fine. And I actually am kind of glad I did make that decision because it's we're going to get into it. Charleston's not my favorite place, but the program that I'm in is actually amazing, and I really do like it. So
Epic.
I'm glad that I'm here and not anywhere else, but I'm also can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah. I think also a little senioritis for all of us.
Yeah.
But at least that's cool that the first original reason that you came to Charleston is still at least holding true.
No, yeah. I'm really glad about that because it's for a while, I remember because I was a double major at one point, and with my other major, I was like, this makes me want to transfer schools.
Yeah.
I was really considering transferring to UMD or something because I really couldn't stand the environment that I was in Charleston.
Yeah.
And so, but I ended up not, and I was I'll just drop that major to a minor.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Interesting. So when you first came to Charleston then you know, you came for this program, but like, did the campus itself attract you? Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like a beautiful campus. Y'all haven't, we can go see it tomorrow or something.
Yeah, sure.
But it really is. I mean, I think it was rated like the most beautiful campus in the country or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Or like one of them. But I mean, I always like take it for granted because I'm like, I hate everyone here, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But then sometimes I'm like walking through like, because you have like the magnolia trees and the Spanish moss like hanging from it and like the old like historic buildings. You're like, okay, I guess it is kind of like beautiful down here. But the palm trees, that's what I like. I love the palm trees.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So my question though is like, when you started coming here regularly for classes and stuff like that, you're vibing with your classes, right? Or a little bit, or well, actually, are you? I don't know.
I mean, like, I was vibing with my classes in the beginning because they were super easy.
Yeah.
But then, like, with a lot of them, it was just like, it was more like, how do I phrase this? The campus environment, I feel like I viewed it so differently than most of the students that go here because I came in as like an arts major and like the art scene down here is so drastically different than like the regular folks that come here because most of everyone that like comes here are like probably like quite wealthy and like, you know, they're like, daddy owns a yacht.
Gotcha.
And like,
have you been on any of those yachts yet?
No, but you know what's actually really funny? My program does this, we have like a record label.
Yeah.
Through an arts major program, and they do a boat show every year.
What?
Yeah, it's just like we're like they like rent out a boat, and we just like hang out on this boat. They have like food and refreshments and like a band, and we're just on a freaking like yacht or something.
That's nice, I guess.
Yeah.
Some patron of the school is like, "Yo, come to my yacht." What happened?
Well, I think we like rent it out or something. I'm not sure. I
Oh.
haven't been, and also like because of COVID, we haven't really. I don't think they had it. But it's like you get this like. So many people that come here are just like kind of like frat bro sorority girl type or they're like old money.
Is Greek life big on this campus?
I mean, like, yes and no. There's like a lot of people that are in sororities and like there are frat parties, they're just bad. Yeah.
So the real party happens
in the bars, bro. Like, I mean, it's like, it's kind of hard to do that as a like freshman. So like my freshman year, I mean, we had our little group chat on Group Me and like everyone would be like, oh, Pike party at blah, 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 Bogard. Oh, Fiji at Cumming Street. And it's just like, okay. And we like, and it's like so lame because you go to the party and they're just like houses that like people live at or like someone who lives there like is in one of the frats.
Gotcha.
Because like frat row is like tiny. There's like not that, the houses aren't like huge.
So we're not even in the frat parties yet. It's like the sub frat parties. It's like, oh, Timmy's in a frat. Timmy's throwing a party.
No, like there aren't any parties happening on frat row. Like,
oh, really?
No.
Why is that?
Because I guess it's because it's like right on campus. I mean, like with the frat houses here, like they're right next to the dorms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So usually like the parties are just like further like away from the campus, and you have to like kind of trek there.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you go to like you find the Addy, and then you get there, and there's like jungle juice that's probably like laced with something, and then the cops come at like 9 p.m. and bust it. Like that's really what the
what do you
frat
mean early bedtime. That's just getting you to do your homework. That's getting you like to wake up for class on time. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but it's just like it's such a shame because it's like you come to college, right?
Yeah.
You're like coming to college for the first time, and you're like, wow, I'm gonna go to like frat parties, I'm gonna get wasted.
Yeah.
The party gets busted at like 9-10 p.m. And you're like, I just got here.
So it's pretty. So cops enforce pretty harshly around here, or?
They do with like if it's like close enough to campus. So like in the last 2 years, or like I guess last year, like we've thrown a lot of parties here at my house, but I feel like we're so far away from campus. I mean, and by far away, like we're only a mile away from campus, but we're so far away from campus that like, and also we're not crazy that we've never gotten a noise complaint or anything like that. Like
Nice.
cops have never. The only time cops have ever come to our house was because my roommate decided to burn a bunch of leaves in the backyard, and the fire department and the cops came, and they were like, can y'all put that out? So
wow, so y'all throw down and you start fires.
Yeah, but that wasn't even like a night of a party. It was just like we were just doing yard work. Like
separately, yeah.
We literally did all this weeding because we have a backyard. Like, you know how hard it is to have a backyard and be a college student?
Yeah, we're like, I guess we should preface this by saying, like, we're in a house. This is not some sort of, apartment or some sort of, like, little small room that people have. This is a big house.
It's 2,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. And it's cool, it's quirky, it's got all the little, like, it's got the... it's got college vibes, but I think it's because you guys dressed it up for college vibes for sure. But it's
also, I have a sunroom in my room attached to my room.
Yeah.
So actually before we moved in, our junior year. So we've been here like a full year. The guys that used to live here were like these frat dudes.
Yeah.
And apparently they used to use the sunroom as like a grow room. Yeah.
It just still smells when you walk in there.
No, yeah, they used to use it as a grow room because I remember one time I had like a friend over and he was like, yo, like the first time he was at his house, he's like, yo, I see all the guys that used to live here. He's like, they used to your room as a grow room. And I'm like, shut up, no way. When we toured the house, it was like, you couldn't even like see the floor. I remember I walked in, me and my roommate at the time, and we like walked in and like the landlord is showing us and it's like, there was like bras like hooked to the walls. And like there was like bongs literally like bigger than like half the size of me. Like it was insane. Like they just like, it was like total frat house and it was disgusting. And then actually our neighbors,
it was sticky when you first got here. It was moist.
No, literally it's just like moist. It's like musty. The sunroom, it was a grow room.
Oh my god! Oh my! Is that when you toured it? You are?
No, I didn't. I could tell that they were like hiding shit or something. Because like I remember walking in. Because I remember I walked in this room and I was like, "This is gonna be my room." Like fuck it.
Yeah.
I want this room. But I remember like seeing like looking in there. I'm like, they definitely like fucking. If they don't grow weed in here, they at least like smoke in here. Like this is a smoking den.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This isn't a room. This is a den.
Yeah. This is the den. But they actually had to delay our move-in by like a week because the guys before trashed it so bad that they had to like fix it. And I remember like I was driving by and like there was windows like smashed open. Like I was like peering in, there was like holes in the wall. Like you can see like look like they put plaster over like some of the holes in the wall.
Yeah. Wow, so they were like neighbors. They were like in the movie. Like Zac Efron.
Yeah.
They were literally like that.
No, yeah, literally. And then and our neighbors, they're just like, they're like all our neighbors are just like old like black men. They're just like they're like elderly black men. They're so kind, they're so nice, and they're always like, we are so grateful that you all live here instead of those boys from before. And I was like, oh my god, thank you.
Yeah, I saw like just like a lady like walking into her house and I was like, that's like just like that's just like a woman like living like her
bro, there
life.
are kids that just live next door.
Yeah,
like children
in like a neighborhood. It just feels so strange.
It's so strange because it's like even then, like, yeah, like, we're pretty secluded from campus, but even then, like I said, my favorite bar is literally a minute walk from here.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, which one's your favorite?
Rec Room.
Oh, right. That's one you were just mentioning.
Rec Room Rec Room's my favorite. It's the #1 seller of PBR in the world.
Let's go. I mean, we've been, like, searching far and wide, every single episode of Universi-Tea. Where is the biggest seller of PBR?
Like, started this, yeah.
That's why we started Universii-Tea.
Answer that question.
So, here to announce it, this is the last
Beer.
episode. We found Universi Beer.
So Charleston does this thing every year called the Cooper Bridge Run. So I don't know if have you seen that like bridge that's like over there that's like kind of tall?
We saw it when we drove in. It was like had the all the things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like kind of lights up at night, but basically every year they just had it like literally a week ago.
Yeah.
One Saturday a year they close the entire bridge down and like into that area that it connects to, which is called Mount Pleasant, the bougie suburb of the city.
Gotcha.
So they close like the whole bridge and people like run. It's like a 10K, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, nice.
So like they run it and then Rec Room on their Instagram like posted this like picture and they were like, oh, like we're getting ready for the Cooper Bridge Run, and it's just like dozens and dozens of boxes of PBR. Like literally, like I can't even like I think it would take me like a day to count every single one of those boxes.
So people get drunk and do the run? Is that the whole thing?
No, they're just like, oh, we just got to get ready for it. Like probably people are getting drunk afterwards or something. I don't know. But
so that's a fun little campus. That's another thing we should talk about, like campus traditions / like events that Charleston does.
I mean, that's just like a city thing. I can't even I was just talking about this with my roommates downstairs. Like CFC has like no school spirit.
Oh really?
But yeah, like first of all, we don't have a football team.
Neither do we though, so we feel.
Yeah, undefeated. Our football team's undefeated.
Exactly. That would be quite the game, like UMBC football versus College of Charleston.
Just an empty field. Yeah.
Oh shit!
But we have like baseball, or not baseball. What is it? What's that game? Basketball.
What's that game?
No, apparently we have a really good basketball team.
Okay, so do we.
Incredible.
I know, look at that.
But it's like I've never been to a basketball game this whole time. They're always like free tickets, and I'm like,
yeah. So that's not the move. It's the bar's the move.
Yeah, because like I said, like I feel like every CFC student goes through this like phase. They go through the phases, right? They come to Charleston, and they start going to frat parties, and they're like, okay, these frat parties suck. They either pull out their fakes or they obtain a fake, and they start going to try to get into some of the bars. Yeah. There's only a few bars that really you could get into. Mint, horrible bar. It is just the freshman bar. Also known to be very racist. They enforce like dress codes, apparently.
What?
Yeah, apparently the dress code is like, oh yeah, like no ripped jeans, no like gang t-shirts, or I don't even remember.
So what kind of bar is this? No ripped jeans?
It's like supposed to be a dance club, but like
you can't dance with ripped jeans in here.
No, there's actually like that one, and then this other bar called other dance like club called Deco that also has like a dress code, and they're like known to like date rape in there, the bartenders literally will actually like date rape you. Oh, those are the rumors. And actually allegedly,
right?
I don't think those rumors started until like recently, like post COVID, or like, I guess.
Okay. Jeez, are you serious? What's it called?
Deco.
Don't sue us. Allegedly. Deco.
In Minecraft.
But damn, in Minecraft, yeah.
Yeah. And then, but usually, like, I know, like, my roommate's freshman, because I didn't have a fake. I never wanted to get a fake. I just, like, I always thought, like, even my real ID, they'd still, like, like, kick me out anyway. But actually,
What do you mean? They'd be like, no?
Yeah, they'll be like, you look 12. Like, they'll think that my ID is just, like, literally just fake. And I'm like, this is real. But that hasn't happened. But I still
hasn't happened? There you go.
No,
that's good.
I still have a vertical license, though. So maybe they're like, if it really was a fake ID, it would be horizontal, right?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I never had a fake. And then my roommates, they both had fakes. And they would go out all the time. And also, I just, like, didn't want to go out because I didn't want to spend money. At that point, my dad still had access to my bank account. Nice. He would still. I remember there was a coffee shop that also serves beer and like mimosas and stuff, and they're called Kudu Craft Beer and Wine.
Oh yeah, we passed.
Yeah,
we did by there earlier today. Remember?
Oh yeah. Okay. And I remember I literally got like coffee from there. My dad was like, "What did you get at Kudu Craft Beer and Wine?" And I'm like, "Please." So
I got a coffee.
I mean, thank God my dad doesn't have access to my bank account now, because literally every single transaction is me at a bar. But yeah, like I never really, at that point I stopped like even going to frat parties, and I didn't even try to go to bars. I just like went to like kickbacks by my friends, because at that point I established like friends within my major and my program. Nice. So I just like hung out with them. But I remember my sophomore year though, I started to sneak into bars because I was adamant about not getting a fake. And then I remember there's this place called Bangkok Lounge. It's a karaoke bar. It's also really,
that sounds awesome.
It's really fun, yeah.
Is that like every night karaoke?
Mm-hmm. It's just karaoke, yeah.
Wait, are they open like tonight?
They probably have a cover, and it's probably gonna be a really long line and really packed. Because I remember when like sophomore year, when I feel like they were around for a bit, or they were just new, and people weren't like hip to it yet,
and it was awesome.
But the only times I ever went there were like on weeknights. I'd go on like a Tuesday night and I have like class the next day.
That sounds so fun.
But I remember like I was like 19 still, and I like went up to the bar, and all my friends were 21 or had fakes, and I just like showed him my real ID. I was like,
no
here
way.
it is. And he looked at me and he was like, And also that day too, I was dressed like a minion. Like I was wearing like a yellow t-shirt. Like I wasn't like this on purpose. I was wearing a yellow t-shirt and overalls, and my hair was like in like a little high ponytail. I looked like a child. He looked at me. He was like, "You're literally 12 years old." And I'm like,
say that?
"Yes." He said that. He looked at me. He's like, "You're 12 years old." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm 19." And he just like
You said
fuck off.
wait, but you weren't allowed in anyway, right?
No, he let me in.
Oh,
That's
he
the
did?
thing. He let me in. Like that, like sophomore year.
So I'm telling you, you gave
I
this
finessed
man
it.
your real ID.
Yes.
He says, "You're 12 years old." You go, "No, I'm not." And then he goes, "Okay, you're in."
Yeah, I think he's like, man, like fuck it, like I don't even fucking care. It was a Tuesday night, like, and it was not even like holiday or anything. Like,
Yeah.
there's no one there. Like it was like me and my friends, like the 4 or 5 of us, and then like 3 other people in there.
Wow.
So they were probably like whatever.
Did you want to talk about some of the things that you weren't as big a fan of about like your program or about?
Yeah. So like, okay, let's get into why I dropped being a music major. There was this one faculty member who, or like this professor I had, and on the 60th anniversary of Little Rock 9, he like made this whole thing where he made everyone in the class like sit in a circle and made all the black kids stand up. And in a class of like 40 kids, it's like,
Wait, did he say?
he said, he's like, can all my African American students, like, can y'all just stand up? All my black students, please stand up. And I was just like, sitting there, I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
There's like 7 black kids in there, 2 non-black, non-white kids, which was me and my roommate, who is half white actually and half Chinese. And then everyone else was like white, like everyone else. And so, and it's like 30 other white kids. So we're all sitting there, we're all like, what the fuck is going on? And he like makes this like whole thing about how like we should like be grateful over the fact that like, you know, like 60 years ago this happened, and now like we all get to like learn together and like
What
all these
the
things. And it was so weird, and all the black kids are just standing.
Bro, you can thank a more diverse campus than 60 years ago without asking every black kid in the class to stand up.
Yeah, and it was just like weird, and we're like all in a circle, so we're all just looking at each other, and we're all like, what is happening?
It's so weird. Like, look at your black classmates.
And
They
he's like-
wouldn't have been here 60 years
And he's
ago.
like,
what?
nobody.
That is
He's like, no.
awful.
It was like the most like Michael Scott moment that I've ever like experienced in my life. Like, and I was just like, oh my God, that was the
That literally
moment.
does sound like a sitcom. That,
No,
it's like
I
ridiculous.
shit you not,
Yeah.
because there's another incident I'll bring up also, but like I shit you not, that was the moment where I called my sister and I started crying and I was like, I'm transferring schools. I was like, I can't, like, what the fuck is that? And I remembered like while it was happening, I was like literally sitting there in shock. I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on? And all like the black kids are just like, they're obviously like, what the fuck is going on?
obviously
But they're not,
uncomfortable, right?
they're not showing it. This is what I think. It's like, I feel like if this was happening in the DMV, someone would be like, why is this happening? You know what I mean? Like, one of them would
A little
speak
bit,
up
yeah,
about it
yeah.
and be like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
And we're talking in the group chat, like, because I'm in the group chat with like a lot of like the people that like had to stand up, and like a lot of the black kids in that class. And I'm like telling them, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
While he's like speaking.
Yeah.
And they're all like, bro, I'm about to like I'm literally about to report this guy.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, it's like, because then the same person that said like, I'm literally about to fucking like report him, he comes up to them at the end of class and is like, I hope I didn't overstep by doing that. And then they're just like, no, like it's okay, like it's fine. Like, do you know what I mean? That's like another thing that I like really hate about Charleston, is just like, you can still clearly see the racial divide between like white and black people down here.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's not like super like noticeable, but it's like I said, like for me, like growing up in the DMV, like it just feels very different, like witnessing that. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's it's a great example of literally picking out all the black students in a class and making them stand up.
Yeah.
And then that just sounds. What the fuck? I don't even have any words for that. It's just so. What the fuck?
It was just. Yeah, like literally. When I tell people that, they're always like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that happened," and he still teaches there.
Yeah.
But also, it's because it doesn't feel like enough of a welcoming environment. Like, yeah, there are like people nice to me, but it's like for instance, like when I go out, like people, like when I go to bars, like guys all the time are like, where are you from? Like, oh my god,
gosh.
like, are you Indian? Like, oh my god, I mean, this one guy came up and he was like, I've been waiting for an Indian girl like you. And I'm like, I'm not even Indian, dude. Like, I was like, please, like, that's so weird. And it's like,
That's so weird.
that's the thing. It's like in DC, like if someone was fetishizing me, they wouldn't outwardly be fetishizing. You know what I mean? They might be fetishizing me in their heads, but like they wouldn't be doing that. Like literally, just like I am literally fetishizing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
And that happens like frequently. Like,
Yeah, that happens a lot to me, honestly. Like every time I go out.
wow.
That's Charleston. Oh my god, I didn't even get into the Citadel.
What's that?
Okay, I totally forgot about it because we don't really see them that much anymore because of COVID.
Yeah.
But the Citadel is the military college.
Oh yeah, we saw them walking around today.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a guy. We saw one. I saw.
There was a ton of them. They were all
Yeah,
over the place,
they wear the little costumes. Their uniforms, whatever. Their campus is actually like really close by here.
Okay.
But
So wait, they have their own campus for the Citadel of Charleston.
it's a different school completely.
Oh, it's a completely different school.
Yeah, it's like a military college.
Okay.
And they're just like weird. Like I feel like I ran in a crowd with them in like freshman year at one point because my roommate, this guy that she went to high school with, like went to the Citadel, and since they're both from like New York, so they were like, oh, we really don't know anyone from home down here. Let's hang out. So he like brought himself and his friends like to our dorm, and they just started like crashing at our place like every single weekend. It was a mess. They were drunk all the time. One of them literally finagled his way into my bed, and I was like, can you please get out of my bed?
You just slumped in your bed?
He just slumped in my bed, and I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do except sleep in my own bed? Like, I want to sleep in my bed. It was a fucking twin-size bed in the fucking dorm. And I remember, like, I thought this motherfucker was asleep. All of a sudden, I feel a little hand coming up my thigh, and I look at him, and I'm like, turn the fuck around. Like, I was like, please. Like, they're so horny all the time because they live in this, like, prison. It's literally a prison. If you want, we can drive through it. Like, I will literally drive you all through it. It's a fucking prison. And like, because of COVID, they, like, barely let them out. Like, hardly. But they usually, like, swarm down here, like, looking for, like, little freshman girls. And, like, girls go to that school, too, but, like, not a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so weird that you would just like go home to your dorm and there'd be all these like military boys like fucking just like wasted and like asleep.
No, literally, like that's just what happened every weekend. It was like actually a mess. But it's like they're literally like a plague. They're a menace to Charleston.
Damn. You heard it here first.
Yeah. If you are a cute little girl planning on going to CFC, do not get yourself involved with a Citadel man. Don't do it. No matter how cute and how charming he is, he actually isn't. He probably looks like a frog. So, don't. God, what else is there to talk about Charleston? Oh, yeah, I was talking about the art scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's a lot of, like, DIY shows, just, like, local bands, and then you will just keep seeing the same people that you see all the time.
In a bad way or a good way?
Both.
You said both, yeah.
Sometimes it's like nice, like when I'm like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in a bit, or like I actually like you. But then sometimes I'm like, oh my god, we hooked up.
Wait, so here's my one question. Like, teachers aside, for the arts department, are the students good? Like, are they nice?
Oh yeah, like I would say that they are. At least in the, like I said, because I don't know anything. I don't know what life is like outside of the art school, like, honestly. Like CFC life. But the arts kids are all pretty neat.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And you made, like, a decent amount of friends in the arts program.
Yeah, like, 95% of all my friends are, like, arts kids.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. So, friends is the potential upside.
Yeah.
Like, is Charleston better as an upperclassman?
Oh, yeah. Once you're 21, like I said, this whole city breeds alcoholics. So once you're 21, this city is so much better.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, Not to be an alcoholic, but
I mean, yeah.
that at least once you're an upperclassman, you can have a good time.
No, yeah, you could definitely have a good time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about drugs. Everyone in Charleston really likes coke and ketamine.
Huh.
If you like coke and ketamine, then you probably like Charleston.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. If you're a woman and you're looking for love, this ain't it.
Oh, okay.
So this is a really interesting thing. Like, College of Charleston is 70% women and like 30% men.
Okay.
So, and the city itself is just like so much more women than there are men.
Yeah.
And the guys just like kind of develop this like ego like complex thing, and are just literally so horrible towards all the women down here.
Oh, wow.
Like, I have like fully given up on like dating, not even just dating, but just like casual relationship with guys down here, because it's like none of them like respect you ever. Like there's a few gems. There are a few gems down here, but like I haven't met them yet. So or like I'm even like even like guys that like my roommates or like my other female friends have dated, like I'm always like, no.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
There's
Definitely also a very important thing to note if people are looking at this school.
Yeah.
You know what
If
I'm
you're a
saying?
guy though, you probably would have a great time down here. But if you're a girl, I mean, the beach is here. The beach is 20 minutes. That's a really nice thing. The beach is 20 minutes away.
Is that nice? And you said it's like a local beach. What's the vibe? What's the view?
I mean, there's some tourists, but like it's the Folly Beach at least is like kind of more local.
Nice.
They have good food, and there's like fun bars here. They have rooftop bars here
Ooh,
also.
cool. Yeah.
So like so my hair bar rec room is just like a dive bar.
Why is it your favorite?
It's because they have a pool table.
Ooh.
They have like a jukebox type of setup in the inside, and then like a patio area, and then foosball, pinball, arcade
You
machines.
say ping pong?
Not ping pong. No, pinball.
Oh, okay.
And then they have and then during the weekdays, I like going the weekdays better because it's not busy. But like they have like trivia nights, they have bingo nights, they have
cool.
bocce ball nights. It's
Wow,
really
they
fun.
got everything.
Yeah, it's a fun bar.
How
And
do you
then
full ass bocce ball in this bar.
they have it's outside.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
it's like in the back.
Okay, that's cool.
Because they have like a little patio, and then they have like a little alley in the back where people like smoke, and like they have like little murals to say like share a drink with someone you love. Like,
Oh,
blah.
nice.
And yeah, but I also like it because like I was able to like build a relationship with like the people that work there.
Oh,
like,
yeah, you're like a local. You're like
yeah,
what's it
I know. I'm like a local townie now or something. It's like weird. It's like actually like kind of weird. But yeah, I mean like that's my favorite bar. Like I also really like. I love Cocktail Club.
Is that another bar?
Yeah, it's like complete opposite of Rec Room. It's like a lounge bar, like classy. They have like
Ooh, that
every
sounds
single
nice.
cocktail you can imagine.
Yeah.
Like Rec Room is like vodka, cranberry, or nothing.
Yeah,
like you know
yeah.
what I mean? Or PBR because the number one seller PBR. in the world.
PBR.
But yeah, Cocktail Club is like they have live music coming in at 9:30 every night. Like it's gonna
Ooh.
chill.
Yeah.
And then that's one of the bars they do a 23 and up on weekends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you have to like you?
You have to be 23 and up to get
Whoa.
in. So like cause the thing is
People
like
get fake IDs for 23. Like actually.
No, well, it's like, because that's the whole reason why they do it, is because there's so many freshmen that have fake IDs
Oh, for 21.
for 21, so they're probably not going to have 23, so that's, I'm pretty sure, I think that's why they do it.
People actually get 23-year-old fake IDs.
I don't know.
That would be so awesome.
But I go to Cocktail Club every Thursday, and they know me well enough where it's like, if I wanted to show up during a 23 and up, they'd literally just let me in, so it's like, fine.
That's awesome.
It's like nice, like, because with Charleston, it's like, it's small enough and like local enough where like if you're just like around enough, then like you can just build a relationship with these people.
That is cool. It's
Yeah.
like you're able to like live.
It's still like a community.
Right, yeah, you're able to live right in the city and become a like frequent of like a restaurant and get to know the staff,
Yeah.
like make friends, like that's a good vibe.
It's a pretty good vibe.
That, at least for the restaurants.
It's very easy to network down here, make connections.
Because you're just seeing the same people over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. How big is? I was wondering, like, kind of hard to gauge how big Charleston in general was.
I feel like, I think it might be like, I'll literally look it up. Okay, this is saying 135,000, but I feel like that's counting like the suburban areas as well,
Okay,
like the
gotcha.
surrounding areas.
Yeah,
Like,
tall
Charleston
buildings.
is often compared to like Savannah, Georgia.
Oh,
Yeah. Savannah is just like kind of like Charleston, but a lot less condensed, I guess.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Charleston is just like all of its like economy is based off of tourism. food and bev, which kind of ties in with tourism, and parking meters.
Yeah.
I swear to God, and parking tickets.
Yeah, luckily we found some like free parking spots near like the college earlier, and we just like walked a bit. But
after 6 p.m. the meters are free, so then you're like good then. But,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Tourism, because it's just so historic, so haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Amina, for joining us on Universi-Tea.
Of course, it's my pleasure. I'm literally so excited about it.
It was awesome. And shall we clink our beers one last time?
Universi beer.
Universi beer. Learn how them schools beer with Universi beer. And that was Amina's interview, so thank you for listening. And now
we're going to go into the ghost stories. And we're going to start with Amina's ghost stories. And then we'll go to Kat and Seth's ghost stories.
Yep. So Halloween.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Halloween.
Halloween, yeah, I mean...
well, at Charleston specifically, is Halloween different? Does it hit different? Because Charleston is obviously... Well,
honestly, I don't even know what Halloween is like down here. Like, I feel like they have, like, bar events, but it's like... Every day feels like Halloween when you're in Charleston.
Really?
I feel like...
Why is that?
I mean, I guess it depends on where you are. Like... I mean, in this part of Charleston, so I live in the west side.
Okay.
I live in West Side Charleston.
West side.
Yeah. It's like, this house was built in the 30s. I remember I saw that on Zillow.
Yeah, it's a very cool house.
Yeah. So sometimes like I feel like instances happen. I can't even like name like that many instances. Like I think there was like one instance where my roommate and I were like standing in the kitchen and she like had like a little microwave meal and she like set it down with a fork on top of it and like went off to the dining room.
Yeah.
And her food was like in my peripheral and I literally just saw the fork just like fling onto the floor and I was like, and she like also like caught like the tail end of it and she's like, did you see that? And I'm like, yeah. And then she was like, let's not ever talk about it again.
Oh
and I'm like,
gosh.
yeah, let's not. Yeah, in this house, well, we have the creepy piano. You guys haven't.
Oh, Harry looked at that.
Okay, yeah. There's definitely roaches living in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't have to play it too much because sometimes if we like play it, then they'll like slither out of the keys.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. It's like the Addams Family or something.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, I mean, you think it's like because it's creepy, but it's actually just because it's really old and the house is really old and roaches are like inevitable.
Right, but like you're playing it and then roaches start climbing around you and you're like, what is this, like Nightmare Before Christmas?
No,
like,
yeah, it's like maybe I'll like play something like and show y'all, but it's really spooky because it's really fucking old. It was like the only furniture piece in the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I just don't think they want to move it because it's expensive to move it.
How old is that, do you think?
I don't know.
It looks really old.
I really don't know. It's like the only thing in the house. Oh my god, wait, when we first moved in, because, I do have so many stories.
Yeah.
When my roommates and I were looking for a place to live, so this was like right before COVID, we were looking for a place for our junior year. So right before COVID, we find this one house, and we're like, oh, it's like a 4-bedroom, there's 4 of us, like, it's gonna be cute, it's like...
Is that this house?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty close to campus, and so we get there, and for like the tour, and it's us 4 and then these other 4 girls that are also like doing the tour at the same time. And I remember at one point I should have thought this was suspicious, but I was like looking at this like antique like stone like mask and it looked like a devil's face.
Oh
and
my God.
I should have thought something about it, but I thought it was cool. I was like, oh, like cool, like whatever. And then there's like a huge brick wall too.
Yeah.
So it's like this brick wall and then the courtyard and then the house. And the house is like towering. And so we're like waiting for this guy. His name's like Mark or something. We're like waiting and like we're all calling him. Like even the other girls were like calling him like, where's this dude? Finally, he's like, I'm sorry, like I'm running late. Finally, he shows up. This man's just a walking corpse, first of all.
Oh, no.
And he's just like, I guess he's just like the property manager. He's like wearing a suit and everything, like a nice suit, but he looks like a walking corpse, like Argus filter or something from Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh.
And like, cause he's like long, stringy, like gray hair, like this like gaunt face, like pointed nose.
You're like, no way.
I can't even make this shit up. And like this whole time, like I'm not actually like feeling weird vibes from this house at all.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, like, okay. And then this guy shows up and I'm like, what is going on? He's like walking like very slow.
You're
right?
like, this is the spirit that haunts this house.
Yeah. And so he like, But I was like, he's like wearing like a new suit and everything. Like, so I was like, okay, and he's like carrying like he has a smartphone. Like,
yeah, shout out to Mark. Shout out to Mark.
Yeah. So I'm like, it was just like really bizarre. And so it takes him like a 5 whole minutes to first open the door because his hands are so shaky.
Oh my god.
And we're all just like waiting there. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Finally gets the door open. The second I stepped foot into that house, I thought I was gonna like Ralph. Like, I was so nauseous. I was so sick. Like, literally just stepping over, like, the threshold.
Yeah.
And I get in there and I'm like, oh my god. I felt like I was, like, walking on a boat that's just, like, swaying, like, really violently back and forth. Like, I couldn't explain it. And the only other time I've had the experience was in one of the residence halls in CFC. I'll get to that. But let me get over this first. But, so we get it and we're having this tour. And, like, obviously, like, you know me, like, I'm kind of more affected by those things. My roommates, though, like, they definitely, like, felt something.
Yeah.
They weren't, like, as horrible. They weren't feeling as horrible as I was feeling, but they definitely was, like, there's something.
The vibes are off.
Vibes are off.
Yeah.
And, like, on the ground level, though, like, near the kitchen, there was, like, a door, and it was, like, padlocked. There was, like, 8 locks on it. And I remember, like, my roommate, like, asked him, was like, what's behind the door? And he's like, we don't open it. And I'm like, shut up!
Shit.
I was like, shut up!
They're like, don't worry about that. Don't go down.
No,
there.
yeah. But it was, like, once we got to the second floor, like, we were following him, we got to the second floor, and then he's like, oh, yeah, and this is where you can look over the brick wall and see the oldest graveyard in Charleston. And I was like, there it is.
Oh my god.
There it is. And I was like, this is why I feel so horrible.
Yeah.
And I literally like, and we finally like get over with the tour and we leave and we finally get in the car and I'm literally just like cry.
Oh.
I was like, that was so bad. My roommates were like, we are not living in that
I
house.
Can't. I mean,
Like,
even the fact that it's just a graveyard right behind it.
No,
you wake
it's-
up every morning, go look at the graveyard.
It's
like,
the
no.
oldest graveyard in Charleston, apparently.
Oh my. So yeah, that's
That was a no.
Yeah.
That was a no. But yeah, I mean, but the only other time I've like ever felt like that in Charleston was in the Barry Residence Hall. So here's the lore.
Oh, okay.
So apparently the lore is that where Barry Residence Hall is, there used to be an orphanage.
Okay.
I think some people said it was America's first orphanage. I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
And sometime in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was a fire and like only like 5 children like survived or something, like, or like 5 kids died.
Oh geez.
Some children died in that fire. The whole thing burned down. And then they were like, okay, we'll create Barry Residence Hall. Also, keep in mind, like, CFC is a really old school.
How old?
They were founded in 1770.
So right after it burns down, they're like
Like
put a
before,
dorm hall there.
yeah, before America even became America, CFC was a school.
Wow, it must be one of the really early schools then. Like, I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was
I meant, like,
1770.
it must be up there for
Yeah.
like first universities or something, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
in America, obviously.
Yeah, the first one is like Harvard or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, or I think like isn't like King's College like Columbia or something?
Yeah, actually, I think that is the oldest one.
Yeah. Anyway.
But CFC is old. They were made in 1770. So Barry Residence Hall used to be an orphanage that burned down, and so now it's like a 6-story residence hall. People are always saying that 6th floor Barry is the haunted floor, because like people say that they hear like marbles like rolling across.
Fuck, get out of here with the marbles
on the
please,
top. Yeah.
No.
I remember. I like met these like girls and I actually still talk to a few of them now, but they're like, yeah, let's go back to my, like, we can go back and hang out in our dorm. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then I get up there and I was like, and when I stepped in the building, I wasn't that bad, but then we got up to the 6th floor. That's when I was feeling that like I'm on a really rocky boat feeling.
Yeah.
And the whole night I was like sitting there like I might Ralph. Like it was like so bad. But I mean, when I lived in McAllister, that building is right next to Barry, and I do have some spooky stories from there. Like I remember, it's like I got home, I took my sleeping meds, and I went to bed at like 11 or something, and I was like, I'm gone, like no one bother me, and my roommate, like I shared a room with my roommate, and so she's also about to go to bed, and I'm like passed the fuck out. Because I took my sleeping meds, I like flew, I was like hungover.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden my lamp just turns on my desk, and she took a picture of it, and there was like an orb like floating in the light. I can pull it up.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah,
Wait, so your roommate saw this happen? Like,
yes.
Just fucking turn on?
Yeah, it just turned on by itself.
Fuck no.
Yeah, and she like took a picture and she's like, what the fuck, my roommate's light just turned on. And then she like circled the orb. Because I still have the screenshot of it. It's so funny. But yeah, and then another instance, my roommate, her bed had like, you know, those little like wire like fairy lights, and then the clothespins, and you like hang pictures on them. So she like had one of those like above her bed, and I remember like we just hang out like in our rooms, like we're just doing our own things. We're both like in bed, and the light was still on, and her thing is like, and I was like talking to her about something, and I was like observing. I was like, oh, her thing is just like hanging, right? Yeah. And then I like go like do something on my phone, and then I hear like a paper noise, and she hears it too, and she like hears it from her thing, and we both look at it, and one of the pictures were like flipped up, and we were like,
no shit, you mean it was like upside down or something?
Yeah, so it's like as if you took the clothespin and just like turned it over, so the picture was just like kind of hanging like upside down. Like I don't know. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, like all of them are like facing like this, like one of them just like.
Oh hell no!
And we both were like.
And this was all in your dorm.
In our dorm, it was right above my roommate's head, and I was like, "Are you sure you didn't like when you were like adjusting yourself in bed, you didn't like ask them like maybe the blanket like made it like whoosh up?" And she's like, "No, like I was still like," and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I feel like people are gonna listen to me like, this bitch is like actually crazy because
no, look, this is Charleston. This is a known haunted.
It is area. Charleston, but it's like also like you know me, like I told you all the shit that happened in my mom's house, and like everything that happened there. But like when I first got to Charleston, I started hearing like voices in my head.
Oh shit!
And at first I was like a logical person. If you start hearing voices in your head, you're gonna be like, okay, I perhaps have a mental illness. Yeah. And I remember like for the first like month or so of when I was in Charleston, like my dad and I are like trying to figure out like, what do we do? Is this like mental illness? Like, should I get a psychiatrist? Like, should we change my meds? Like, whatever. Like, we're like, it's like becoming like it was like a very clinical like way of thinking about it. Yeah. Which is like, you should. Because oftentimes it really is just like mental illness. Yeah. But I was going to like psychiatrists and counselors about it, and I'm like explaining to them, and they're like, that's not psychosis. Like, we don't know what that is. But that's not like schizophrenia. Yeah. That's not psychosis. They usually happen like right before I like fell asleep. You know, in that like weird like limbo of like half sleep, like half awake. And I would hear, it was like, the way I would always explain it is like your mind, right? It's like your brain is like tuned into your own like inner thoughts and monologue. Somehow like, I think of it as like a radio, right? So it's like your brain is like your station, the station is always on. Okay. But then there's like a bump or something and it switches stations. Okay. So like that's what it kind of felt like. I felt like I was like switching stations. And it felt like I was like hearing like different channels and just like different snippets of channels. Like I wasn't hearing like people,
other people's thoughts or something?
Not thoughts, but just like people speaking. And it wasn't even necessarily to me. Like
so like when you mean like you really like felt like you were hearing somebody else, not just like someone talking to you, but you felt like you were hearing like somebody else's life, kind of, or something.
Sometimes there was this one night where, I thought I was hearing two women arguing, right? Like I was hearing two women arguing, and it for me like felt like my mom and my sister. Yeah. But I like didn't say anything because I was like, I'm just tweaking, right? Yeah. That whole year for me, I'm just tweaking like all the time. And so, but then my sister like called me a few days later, and she's like, yeah, like I had a fight with our mom today, or like the other day, like the other night. And I'm like, when? And she's like, oh yeah, this night. And I'm like, that's literally the night I was like hearing that shit in my brain.
That's weird.
No, and like I remember, it was like really bizarre because I remember talking to my friend who like had schizophrenia with like psychos, like she would have auditory hallucinations, and she was like, and I'd explain it to her, and she's like, see, the way I have auditory hallucinations is that, say like you and I were in two different rooms, and I suddenly hear you talking shit about me, Like, you're not actually saying that, but that's what I'm hearing. So, like, causes paranoia. It's external. It's not internal.
Okay.
Right? It's external. And, like, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so she'd literally hear you.
Yeah,
Right,
and for me, it was, like, no one was talking to me. No one was saying, like, bad things to me.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, like, that arguing situation was, like, bad, but it wasn't, like, towards me. And they weren't always like that. Like, some of them were good. But I remember this, like, one time I was, like, in the shower, and I just hear this, like, voice, and it's my own voice, but it was my own voice, but I wasn't thinking it.
What?
I just, like, really, like, it's so hard to explain.
No, that sounds terrifying. Like, if I heard my own, like voice.
And but it wasn't, like, my voice. It wasn't being, like, hey, this is a meeting.
Right, no, I know, yeah.
It was like, it was like my thoughts. It was like I was thinking it. It was like, coming out. I'm like big braining it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, but I'm not actually, like, consciously thinking this. But the thought that was happening in my head was that somebody in my family was going to die, and it wasn't gonna be anything tragic. It was just gonna be, like, old age, and I knew, I was like, it's gonna be on my dad's side of the family, and it's gonna be some distant uncle of mine, like, great uncle of mine, and I'm not gonna find out from my dad, and it's going to happen through email, and it's gonna happen in the morning, and when it happens, my stomach is going to be hurting. It was so specific.
What?
Like, I could not even explain to you, like, how specific it was, and I was like in the shower, and I'm like, Amina, you're tweaking. Like, you know what? I was like,
That's what you're saying all year. You're like, you're tweaking.
I was literally saying that all year. Like, anytime, like, shit like this happening, I'm, like, saying that all year. So it's, like, really specific. Distant great uncle on my dad's side. It's gonna die. I'm not gonna find out through my dad. It's gonna be through email, and I'm gonna have a stomach ache, like, when it happens. And I'm, like, in the shower, I'm like, okay, like, literally, like, enough, like, conspiracy theory videos for you, whatever. But the next morning, I wake up with a stomach ache because the night before, I had a whole box of Fruity Pebbles by itself. I woke up with a stomach ache, and I got an email from my uncle saying that my great uncle passed away. And I was like, okay. I was like, oh my god. But this is crazy because it's like, I didn't start, and I honestly, like, after I moved out of the dorm, it kind of stopped happening. Like the sounds, like, sometimes I do hear, like, some, like, not voices, but, like, some, like, or yeah, I guess, like, voices or, like, people speaking or, like, whatever, but, like, very, very infrequently. When I lived in that dorm, it happened every single day. Like, not just in the night, but, like, in the mornings, like, when I'm waking up too. Every single day.
That is, like, I mean, it just, like, I mean, what do you think? What's your, like, do you have a theory? Do you think you're, like, clairvoyant or something? Or, like...
I'm not, like, honestly, like, I wouldn't say I'm not. I looked it up, and it's called clairaudience. So there's like 5 different clairs, like one for each sense, kind of. So it's like clairaudience.
What is voyant, like watching?
That's, yeah, to see.
Gotcha.
So there's clairvoyant, clairaudience, claircognizant, which is like all-knowing.
Oh.
I don't know what the other 2 are.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Damn, that's like the Avengers of...
Yeah. The 5 Infinity Stones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Clairvoyance.
Yeah.
All right, so now our Kat and Seth's ghost stories, and then we'll go on to Kat and Seth's regular interview. Welcome, Kat and Seth.
Thank you.
To Universi-Tea.
You bet.
They thank you in unison. Yeah. But I'm curious about, like, any stories that y'all might have about, like, Charleston, either Charleston, the college being haunted, or just, like, yeah, like hauntings, like in the area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I just remembered one that I do have from the college specifically.
Oh, okay.
This was my freshman year. It was that same show that I was just talking about. And I was closing the theater for the night. And
oh my god, Phantom of the Opera. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And unfortunately, this theater is being knocked down right now as we speak. Rest in peace, Theater 220. But Sabrina, the director, and I were the only 2 people in the theater at that time, and there was only, like, 1 spotlight on. So I could see, like, the back curtain, and I was bending down to pick something up, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw, like, a hand reach around the curtain and, like, a figure step out, and then I, like, looked up, and it was gone.
No, what?
Yep. And, yeah. I asked Sabrina if she'd seen it, but she was, like, facing the other direction.
That is terrifying.
So it could just be me going crazy, but I do recall seeing that, and there are other stories of Theater 220 being haunted, so...
Oh, so you weren't the only one.
I'm not alone.
Was it, like...
What?
Do you know any of the stories?
No, I don't know any of the other ones. I just remember people saying, like, that back corner always, like, felt super weird, that the hand came from behind.
What?
Which, to be fair, it did feel super weird. That corner, we just put, like, spare set pieces in that corner.
Yeah.
It had a very off vibe.
Did you think when you saw it, like, did you already know the history of that corner when you saw that happen?
Kind of.
And
Like,
like,
I knew
fuck,
that it
that's the
didn't, like,
corner.
feel right. I was like, that's the creepy corner.
Yeah.
But I didn't really, like, talk to anybody else about it, you know?
Was the hand, like, silhouette, or was it, like...
It was just, like, I remember it being, like, a gloved hand, kind of, is what it looked like. So, yeah.
Haunted theater, that is awesome. That is awesome.
It was really scary at the time.
Is there at least being another theater built right there?
I think so. I don't know. I don't really know what they're doing with that building. I think they're making, because there's the Recital Hall and Theater 220 were both in that, and I think they're just making, like, one big one.
Okay.
That's gonna go in there.
So hopefully the grounds will still be haunted, and then if you want to come for theater, you know, you get some Phantom of the Opera action, maybe you, like, find some guy who's hiding behind a mirror in a secret place.
Yeah, I've heard folks saying that Emmett Robinson is haunted.
I don't doubt that.
What's Emmett Robinson?
It's like the bigger theater.
Yeah, the bigger theater that we use
Oh.
for all the main stage shows. That's also being torn down right now. Yay!
Maybe some bad shit went down there. That's why they're tearing all the theaters down.
Yeah.
Awesome. How about you, Seth? You got any on-campus Charleston ghost stories?
Not necessarily through the... Sorry. I don't know if y'all have, like, a fine for clearing your throat on the mic. What was I going to say? No, but from where I work, hotels, the hotel I used to work at, the Embassy Suites in downtown Charleston, it's like, a building is like 300 years old. It was like a fort during the Revolutionary War.
It was the old Citadel, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then it was the Citadel, and then the Union took it, I think, and then it was opened back up. No, and then, like, the Citadel moved across town at some point, and then it became, like, a tobacco warehouse, if I'm not mistaken. And then some moron was like, we're going to put a hotel in this old building, and it's kind of a shithole.
They didn't rebuild, they just used it to...
I don't know, I guess they renovated it. I don't know. I mean...
It's a bougie hotel, like...
It's something. It's something is all I'll say.
Well, it sounds like there's something inside it.
No. And then there's this floor on the hotel where it's called the mezzanine floor. It's, for some reason, we have a floor in between the second and the third floor that's, you know, just another floor, but we don't call it the third floor. It's the mezzanine floor, but whatever. And it's got, like, the hallway to the convention centers and stuff that we have connected to it. And there have been, like, several times where, like, I'll be walking down to get, like, to the elevator or the bathroom, and there'll be, like, this super, like, realistic, like, shadowy figure. And other people have talked about it too. But it, like, goes away once you're, like, walking towards the place, because there's, like, also a staircase that connects to the lobby. That's the fastest way, really, to get from the lobby to the mezzanine. So eventually it just dissipates. So I don't know if it's just, like, a figment or whatever.
Wait, you're walking towards the bathroom on the mezzanine floor, and there's just a full shadow figure in front of you?
Well, it's not every single time. What it is, so, like, if this is the hallway here, there's, like, conference rooms on the side here. Bathrooms are tucked into this corner, and that staircase I was talking to you about is closer to the entrance, like, right here. Mm-hmm. So if I'm, like, walking in, there'd be most of the time the figure is, like, kind of back towards the opposite corner of the bathrooms here. So the back right corner as opposed to the back left. And it's pretty weird. Like, it's like, I don't know how to describe it besides it just looks like a shadow that has, like, a lot of depth. And there's nothing that it's, like, reflecting or, like, being cast out of. But I don't know but, like...
It looks like a person?
Yes, very much a person shape, but it always goes away. Like, the first few times I was, like, sketched out.
Yeah.
But, like, I was valet there. And there were several times where I was like run because I also had to take like the luggage carts up to room and then go park the car. So there were like a lot of times I was running through floors and I was just like, fuck it, I don't really give a shit about the Shadow Dude.
Yeah.
I gotta.
sorry, Shadow Dude. I
gotta go park this Chrysler. And like, once you get a certain distance, it would always just like not even like kind of just pop out, not like dissipate or anything. It was just like, boom, not even there anymore.
Wow.
So it's super weird. There's other people who've worked there who've said similar things about the same kind of figure. And then the hotel I work in now, we have a room that I work a lot of overnight shifts, and I'll get a call at the front desk from the room, even if there's nobody in there, and it's always just like static when I pick up, and it'll be kind of like a radio where it'll whine in and out real sharp. So there's that.
Whoa, that sounds spooky.
Yeah.
Do you get spooked out by this, like by Shadow Man, or you just like?
No, for the first few times, like I said, for sure, I would just go the other way, and I would be very sketched out. But like there just came one day where I had to be like, fuck, I gotta get down there as soon as possible. Yeah. Saw Shadow Man. I was like,
Is that Charleston? You gotta live amongst the ghosts?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like the coolest thing, like one of the coolest like attractions that we have down here is like ghost tours, like where you can go like to an old haunted building or something. And it's like a tour, and it'll tell you about like the ghosts. Like there's one for the old prison. I don't know what the other ones are, but there's a lot of them though.
I'm sure there's like a bunch of buildings just randomly in the city, right? That people are like.
Oh yeah, Amina, did you tell the story about when we were house hunting?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
you were there.
Yeah,
so
I was there.
What were your thoughts on that?
I just remember like as soon as I crossed the threshold of the house, like a chill went down my spine, and I was just like very on edge, very aware, and I did not want to be in there anymore. I just remember feeling like very repelled from the building.
Huh.
It was really...
Were you the one that said cool about the graveyard?
Yes, I was. That's just because I really like cemeteries. I love walking through them. I think they're really dope. I have a ghost story from Greenville about that, but that's kind of long.
If you want, I mean...
Well, okay, I'll make it short. Basically, my friends and I were going through the cemetery at night because we were stupid. And there was this one big patch of land of unmarked graves. And it was another like corner of my eye type thing. I was looking down at like a tombstone that you couldn't even read. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw like a hunched over figure like walking up the hill towards us.
Oh no. Shadowy or not?
Yeah, like completely black. And then I like looked up really fast and it wasn't there. And I was like, holy shit. And my friend Kaylee was like, what did you see? And I was like, I just saw like a hunched over figure like walking up the hill towards us. And Kaylee was like, oh, it's probably like the leaves or something in the wind. I was like, you're right. And then 5 minutes later, we moved over to a different section, and we're just like walking around, and then Kaylee like jumps, and I was like, what? And she was like, I just saw the figure walking up the hill towards us. And I was like, we are leaving now. And we like ran back to the car and left, and that was in Springwood Cemetery in downtown Greenville.
Oh my goodness! Yep. You saw the same figure.
Yep,
I don't know if I've ever heard.
And then afterwards, we were like, "Wait, how can we make sure this was the same figure?" Yeah. And she was like, "Draw it for me," and I did. And then she drew one, and then we compared them, and we were like, "Holy shit, that's not okay."
That's a good answer.
It was like, really scary.
So she also saw him, like you said, walking up the same hill when you looked back or something? Or?
Yeah, it was just like out of the corner of her eye. Like, she just saw like someone hunched over and like their arms were like out in front of them. Just like creeping over the hill. It was really... Because like we were at the top of the hill. Yeah. So it was like coming up the hill. Like I didn't see it coming towards us. It was more like behind us. And I don't know where she saw it.
Wow.
Creeping.
Wait,
in the same spot.
That reminds me of, I was telling Harry earlier today.
Oh yeah.
I worked at a church my freshman and sophomore year. Like I was a singer, a paid singer in the church choir. Yeah. So we would have like Sunday services I would sing, but Wednesday nights we would rehearse in the church. And so this church is built in 1806.
Okay.
And there's also like a crypt or something in the church. So like when you come in the church in the sanctuary. Yeah. And like in the aisle there's like dead bodies like they were like buried in there.
What the?
I think so, or like it's someone's like I'm pretty sure it's like someone's body's like in there, and
wait, how do you know that?
Because this girl that went to the church said that actually it was really funny. So the church actually was in this like random Netflix movie.
Yeah.
So there's this like Netflix movie. I forgot what it's called, but it's like based in Charleston. It's like a kind of Groundhog Day type of thing. This guy keeps reliving the same day over and over again.
Okay.
And he's like having his wedding, and he has the wedding in the church that I used to work at.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was watching this movie, and my roommate, was like sophomore year, had this like friend over, and she's like, and I told her I'm like watching this movie because I found out the church that I work for is in the movie.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait, I like go to that church. And I'm like, no way. And she's like, did you know that there's like bodies in the aisle?
What?
And I'm like, what?
Like under the building or like?
Yeah, like buried. Like if you like go in, it's basically like headstones almost, or like it's like a raised like I don't know. It's like
It's a raised aisle, so it's like.
I don't know. It basically like is like kind of like a coffin, like built into the floor. I'm pretty sure.
What the?
Yeah, and I remembered because she brought it up because in the movie they edited it out. They just made it look like just a regular floor.
Oh.
But she was like, they edited out the crypt, and I'm like, crypt? What crypt? And she's like, you know those like that little like raised like part of in the middle of the aisle. It's like that. Those are like bodies. Like that's like a coffin basically. And I'm like, what? So first of all, there's that in that church. I didn't know the entire time, and it is like a pretty old church. But anyway, I would go there for Wednesday night rehearsals, and like by the time it's sort of like 6:30, but by the time it's like fall, like winter, it's like dark at that point. I would park in the parking lot, which is right next to the church's cemetery, and I'd have to walk through the cemetery to get inside the building, or else I'll just have to like walk around the entire church, which would be too much work. But it scared me so badly. Like I wouldn't like look at anything. I was like, like I would just like kind of like keep my eyes down and just run to the door and just like I'm like, if there is something there watching me, I don't want to see it. Like I don't want to know. Yeah. I don't want to know. But one night, the thing is, I would park in that church parking lot because it was really close to campus and I could park there for free. So I'd park there like when I'd be going to class, and I'd have a lot of evening classes sophomore year. So I'd walk back and have to walk past the cemetery like every night to get to my car. And there's this one night where I'm like walking, and the cemetery is not ground level, it's like kind of raised, so there's like a brick wall, right? So I'm walking along the brick wall of the cemetery, and it's just me on the road. There's no one else, and there's like a street lamp, and I see my shadow against the brick wall. But then behind me, I see like a shadow of like a hunched figure.
No shit,
just,
it's
like,
the same one.
Me. Yeah, and just like following me, and I'm like looking. I like stop and look around, and as I'm stopped, so is the figure, and I'm like, is it me then? Like, is it me? But it's like I start walking, and then it like lags, you know? Like so, I'm like, it can't be me. It can't be like another like duplicate shadow.
It like slows down and stops.
Yeah.
It's like oh my! It would be like if you're like in the mirror, like moving your hands, but then your mirror like stops a little bit later. You're like
It was, and I was like, oh my god, I can't do that.
Okay, so South Carolina's got the Hunchback of Notre Dame ghost just haunting the streets everywhere. That is so. Oh my gosh! Wow. All right, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed those. Those were Kat and Seth's ghost stories.
And now it's time for their regular good old interview, which, give it a listen.
We're going to talk about Charleston, life in Charleston, and, you know, like how your times have been and how you're feeling right now. So I just kind of wanted to get a general, like, consensus from both of you, first of all. Like, let me just ask it up front. Would you say that your 4 years, or I guess 3 and a little bit years at Charleston so far have been, like, a good time, like, positive, or...
I would say so, yeah. I mean, the pandemic was in the middle there, so that definitely put a downer on it for a bit. But as far as my time in Charleston, I would say, yeah, I've had a pretty great time. I would say it was a pretty great college experience thus far.
I would definitely say that the experience I've had since I've been a student here has definitely contained the most, at least if not all, most of the highs of my life have been within these last 3 years. Mm-hmm. But that's not to say that, like, it's definitely been like the most challenging time of my life. Obviously, it's college hard, but like it's definitely been like the most like character changing, because the person I was heading into college is nowhere near the person I am now. But yeah, it's been a good experience for sure.
Awesome. So I want to like take it back, if we can, to like your introduction to Charleston. So you guys are both from South Carolina, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, did everyone in your schools go to Charleston? And B, like, is it, like, were you hyped to go here?
Well, I had never been to Charleston before I decided to come to college here. My first time in Charleston was actually orientation, but I came to Charleston officially because I wanted to be a marine biologist. I took one semester of biology classes and was like, absolutely not, and I changed my major very fast. But I wanted to be near the ocean, so that is why I wanted to come to Charleston. Nice. And as far as kids from my high school was very split between Clemson, USC, and Charleston.
Gotcha.
A three-way split. But now, I guess now that I'm living off campus, I don't see people as much. Yeah, I guess every so often I'll see someone I went to high school with, and it'll be really weird because I haven't seen them in a long time, and I'm like, holy shit, you've changed so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't typically see people from my high school much anymore. Freshman year, I definitely did, and I know a lot of them dropped out. So
were they good? Were they like good to see you though, or were they like?
It was always just the the white person smile on the sidewalk. Hey.
Oh hey,
yeah.
I know you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Recognition, but not conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. How about you, Seth?
And then so I had been in Charleston like plenty of times before. I grew up in Somerville, which is only about like 25 minutes away. So I've been here plenty of times. Out of my friends from high school, in like my friend group of like 7 or 8 people, I was the only one to go to CFC. Everyone else either went to USC. Mostly just USC, honestly, but in the school generally it was USC or Clemson. And I was kind of hyped to go here. I started out as a history major. I really wanted to be a history professor. And then I thought about it some more, and I was like, I'd rather make money. So I was like, okay, so I changed my major to political science. I was like, all right, I'm going to be a sports agent. I was get a political science degree, go take the LSAT, go to law school, study contract law, and then be a sports agent. And I got to my junior year, and I'm like, wow, I am not smart enough for law school. So, but at the beginning of my sophomore year, it was I had started working as a valet at Embassy Suites, and at this point, I'm now I'm a manager over there at another hotel downtown, but I've just figured I want to stay in that industry. Once I really am just finishing college to get the degree. It's not worth changing my major at this point, but the degrees will be good enough to apply for higher positions and stuff. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's been an interesting experience for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I totally feel you there. I mean, I think we're all seniors. We're all a little bit like trying to get our degrees and then get out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about the people? Like, are the people of Charleston that you've interacted with freshman to senior year? Do you enjoy them? How are they as a whole? This is the time that I'll say it. I always say this: if you got tangents to go on them. People love tangents. Yeah.
All right, you can go first this time.
All right. I wanna
you
call.
You seemed ready.
There's one man I wanna.
We can bleep the name if you want. If you want to just get it out.
You know what? I'm not too worried about it. I don't have his class. God forbid I don't think I'm gonna have to take this man, fucking Brian Fisher.
Oh
no. Yo, pour one out for Brian Fisher.
Brian Fisher. So I had him for international law. It was an absolutely fascinating subject. It was a great class, except 80% of the lecture, which it was a Tuesday-Thursday class, so that was an hour and 15 minutes. 80% of it is just him talking about him. And that is the shit I cannot stand. It is the most obnoxious shit in the world. And he has like this, he created like this office of sustainability at the college, which I don't even really know what they do. I don't even. I think they may have like some. I don't want to sound. I'm not gonna. Anyway, the point is, this man is just such an inflated ego. I heard so much about this dude's kid's fucking football league.
Wait. Was this a professor?
Yes,
I thought you
professor.
meant it was just like a kid in the class. I was like, why is he talking
this
about
is
himself?
oh my god, this is a professor. This
Okay.
is a professor. This man talked about his kid's football league once per class, and it was the most obnoxious shit in my life.
Did you go to any of the games?
Oh god, no. And then one time so like the offices for like faculty and stuff are really cool in downtown Charleston, for College of Charleston. Like we have these old houses that have like whole like offices in them. So like office of like political science or psychology will be in like these super old houses. There's even like the English department, I'm pretty sure, is like we kind of have this like kind of Roman type gate up at the cistern. There's actually offices inside the arch, which is probably the dopest. Yes.
That's Porter God or something, right? Or
No, Porter God's the all-girl prep school. Porter's Lodge.
Porter's
That's
Lodge.
the building.
That's confusing.
Anyway, long story short, Brian Fisher is the worst professor of this type that I'm talking about. But there are a lot of professors, at least within my department, who are just so concerned with themselves and their own political studies. None of them are as bad as Brian Fisher in that department, so he's the only one I'm going to call out. I'm just saying, avoid his fucking class if you can. You'll have a migraine every single time.
So curious, like, why? Do you think it is specific to this major for some reason?
Oh, probably. Yes, undoubtedly. Because, like, in political science, you have to be so opinionated. I guess maybe no, you're right. There's gonna be people like that in every department. I think political science is more of a symptom of people are just super opinionated, and so they're just super passionate specifically about their opinions, and that's something that I'm like, I don't care. Shut the fuck up. What do I gotta do on this next test, man? Tell me about this essay I gotta write.
Okay, cool. Good to know. How about you, Kat?
Well, overall, I'll speak for the theater department first. The professors have been great. I mean, I've learned a lot from every single one of them that I've taken. They all are very different, and so it's great to have all those different views to see theater from. I really learned a lot from them. Some of them are a bit kooky. Some of them have grandiose ideas that can't really be executed, and they just expect a lot from us. But I think, there's still a lot to be learned from that. And there's also one, I don't want him to be
You can just
mad
say
at
some
me.
professor.
There's some professor who tends to overshare, not like about his kids, because he doesn't have any. No, I'm not going to, because I've learned a lot from him, and I respect him, even though he's a tad creepy.
No, you need to explain this man's. Kat, you need to get some story. No, you don't have to say who it is, but...
Is this the one that dates
I'll
his
give him a
students?
story.
Whoa,
okay,
this one that dates their students.
Is this that one?
What?
Is this the one that dates their students?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
that
okay.
one.
Oh my gosh.
It's that one. Post-graduation,
That's why you need to
shall I
say the
say.
name.
Okay.
It's kind of the thing. Though.
But, yeah, he overshares, like... I mean, here's one thing that he did that was nice for me before I set this up. So as a freshman, I signed up for a way upper level theater class because I didn't know any better. And I got there and I was like the only freshman there, and it was all like seniors and juniors. And I didn't do poorly in the class, so he didn't make me leave. And I got to take it my first semester freshman year, and it was great. One day, we all came to class and he had us all sit down in a circle on the floor. And he was like, guys, I just need to be honest and open with you. I have been very depressed the past few days.
Oh, wow.
And then went on to talk about his battle with depression. And we were all just sitting there like, dude, this was stage combat. That was the class. We were all just sitting there like, dude, please just tell us how to throw a punch. Like, please, we do not want to hear about your depression. Like, I'm sorry, but like, Please.
I know this is stage combat, but there's emotional combat on stage too. With
That's true.
ourselves.
That's true.
And that's what I'm battling with today.
Yep.
We know whose head the lesson went over.
Well, yeah. It was a day. And then he just got up and he was like, well, on to class.
Oh,
and it
my
was
goodness.
after like 10 minutes, so it was a day.
So what about this thing about him dating his students? How does this
Okay,
like...
well, I don't know a whole lot about that. I do know that he's made advances on students and that he has dated some of them. I feel like you know more lore on this than I do, Amina.
Oh yeah. She was like, I feel weird interjecting because it's not my interview, but
No, I'm going to throw a little tidbit in.
no, he like, it was our freshman year. I don't know if he was still dating her at the time or it was afterwards, but she had graduated already. Or no, she was still enrolled. I think she was okay. No,
Oh,
he didn't start dating her.
Jesus Christ! This is why his name needs to be said.
No. Okay, like so she was
He's
still
a very
enrolled. I don't
respected
think they were
man.
dating yet.
Yeah.
And then she graduated, and I think they did start dating. Like I think while she was still a student, they were like kind of flirting with each other. And granted, like she was in her late 20s, I'm pretty sure. So like at least she was a little older. He's like about like I don't know 40 something maybe. But yeah. So but I feel like there's another student before her though that he like dated.
Probably.
But I don't think he ever dated them while they were still students.
Okay.
But
I know it is.
Did you just go and rate my professor or something?
I figured out who it is. Yeah.
Oh my
No,
god,
she
his
said-
rate
well-
my professor though, like
You said
there are
it.
some thirsty comments on his rate
Oh,
my professor.
really?
God.
He is not. He's like in his late 60s.
Yeah.
oh, he is?
Yeah.
I thought he was.
He said his age in class the other day, and I was like,
Oh,
Yeah,
also
the story
he walks
keeps getting
around
weirder.
barefoot a lot.
yes, he does. He also, at a time, he was living in his office.
Is he Beatles fan?
I don't think he's ever been married. He doesn't have any kids. He lives by himself.
No
Yeah.
kids football games.
But
to
he's
go to.
very
And
respected.
this is the one that was
But he's
suppressed?
very respected in the theater community. Like he is. He's quite high up. He can give a lot of opportunities, which is why I don't want to slander him. Yeah.
Also, Kat said his name earlier, so I bet you should probably.
Yeah,
Did I?
well, don't
Yeah,
worry,
you
don't
should
worry.
look
We
that
got
up.
you. We got you. I think I got the vibe.
I figured
the
that I
name for this
probably
one.
did.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's interesting to know, though. I mean, okay, so let's
Yeah.
talk about like in general the professors, theater professors.
Yeah.
It's very solid, good, like.
Yeah.
And this is just maybe an outlier that sometimes is a little like weird, little.
Yeah,
quirks.
for sure. Definitely an outlier. Like I said, a lot of them are quite opinionated. Some of them you like a lot, some of them you don't like.
Yeah.
But they're all in it to help their students, so that's really good. You can always depend on them to want to help you, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's
they're
good.
good for that.
What about
for
like
sure.
just Charleston, like the students, like in your respective departments or around the city that you've seen? Like, what are people at Charleston like? How do you feel about like the locals? Yeah.
Well, as far as my neighbors go, so I live on, I call it an island because it's like, I have a one-way street on this side, I have a one-way street on that side, and behind me is a one-way street. So it's really hard to get to, which is nice. But right across the street is is definitely a crack house. It is run by two fabulous men. I've spoken to them many times, very often at 4 a.m, and we are up for very different reasons. And but they're great. And then they have like a bar or like some sort of like store that's like built into their house.
Whoa.
So, and then there's like kind of like a Sopranos-esque like seating outside where they all sit, and like, you know, different people come and they all just talk. It's just kind of like that. So there's that.
Have you ever joined?
I've never joined. No. They have an ATM there, and it's so nice. I just have an ATM right across the street from me, and it's like, and it sounds sketch as fuck, but it's actually like one of the nicest ATMs I've ever used. It's got a $1 charge for like to withdrawal, so I can take out $100, and it's just so like, okay, we just want one more dollar, and it's like, you can like get 5s or 20s, and it's like built in like this super like metal case, which is surrounded by another like metal barrier. So I feel very secure at this ATM. It's so
You heard
nice.
here, Charleston ATM.
This Charleston ATM, don't come. It's mine. This is my street. Don't come to me.
Well, it's really hard to get to anyway.
Yeah.
So
It is, exactly. That's the point. Stay away.
Exactly.
And then, so to my right, I have these people who grow their own weed.
Oh, wow.
And then the people who live above me in my house sell cocaine.
So, wow. So this is like this is like the drug central of Charleston. It's like in your house.
I don't know. I don't like that. But you're not wrong.
It's your high school legacy.
Chill out with that. Chill out with that. Chill out with that. No.
Doesn't do it.
Chill out. Chill out. But Line Street in general, not a great street if you know your Charleston lore. It's
It's horrible for driving. I'll circle it back to that. Line Street sucks.
Is it?
So bad.
so Line Street. It's like
just the road.
so like I don't know how to explain it because it's really a feat. It's like so this is 17, right, and it's running this way. Line Street kind of is running here, right? So Line Street connects the 17. But then off to the left a little bit, on this side, Line Street picks back up on the complete other side of 17. They don't line up at all. It's a feat of just such failure at the overall city planning level that it's amazing.
So as far as city planning goes, Charleston is not the spot.
So bad.
Not
No,
the spot.
the infrastructure, horrible.
Yeah.
I was talking to my mom about that the other day. Actually, I think it was today.
I mean, let's talk about the flooding. Like,
Yeah, the
Oh,
like,
yeah,
like my
actually.
street floods so bad. Like one time I had to drive Amina to the airport, and the sewers were like spouting up water. Like
Oh
it was
my
like
gosh.
a fountain, like a literal fountain in the street. So I drove Amina through that to the airport, and on my way back, driving back to my street, Smith Street is the absolute worst. My street is perpendicular to Smith, so I had to get onto Smith to get back to my house, and the water was up to my headlights, and I have a Jeep.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I have an SUV, and it was up to my headlights. Like it was so
And you're still
bad.
able to drive?
Yes, surprisingly.
At least you didn't have one of those doorless Jeeps.
Yeah, at least I didn't have a tiny car that would
Yeah, I think my car
drown.
would just
Yeah,
be...
Amina's car could not make it through.
She would just be under the sea, just vibing when the windows
Yeah.
rolled up. You know what I'm saying? As long as you got the AC, you're fine.
Yeah.
So Charleston, if you like swimming in the middle of your street, you don't need to get a pool. Don't get a house with a pool.
No,
Don't
but
waste
people-
A
money.
lot
do
of
that.
people do though. If you
really?
go on
People do
Barstool
that.
Charleston,
Yeah.
a lot of people will go like kayaking when it's
Oh,
so
right.
bad.
It's disgusting.
That happens
Yeah.
like frequently. You just like open your.
Yeah.
How frequently does it flood? Like how?
Pretty much any time it rains for more than like 30 minutes.
Really?
Or
Yeah.
over a period of several days.
Yeah.
And does it rain here frequently?
Yes.
Yeah, it goes through phases.
Like it'll rain,
When it rains, it'll rain for like a week straight.
Wow.
but only in like 20-minute increments.
Yeah.
It very rarely actually storms.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's true.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting already.
Lots of gray skies, not a whole lot of actual downpours.
Yeah. And well, at least it gives you an opportunity to really explore the city in a different way. I think I made a comparison to Venice earlier. You know, why go
Oh,
to Venice?
yeah.
Why go to Venice?
True.
You know, why?
Why
Yeah.
would I go? True.
Yeah, Charleston, yeah.
We do look down on the people who canoe in the streets, but what if we use gondolas?
So true.
That's a little bit more
We
dignified.
can make a business out of
We're
it.
literally
Oh my
like,
gosh, yeah, you can make a house
oars
business too.
distance from the water.
Yeah.
You can make a house business too.
Oh, we could.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about that?
Brilliant.
That's actually a pop-up market that's happening in Charleston right now. You know?
Yeah.
All right, so I want to like switch really quick if I can change gears. So we talked a little bit about like, okay, we talked about your majors and about the people in Charleston. It sounds like the vibe is like, you know, people are you like your classmates a decent amount, or?
I do, yeah. In the theater department especially, I know I talk a lot about that, just because that's most of classes I've taken. But in the theater department, you know, you have all the classes with the same exact people.
There's gotta be
like
someone
you're
you
all
can't
friends. I mean, we're not like all friends, but we're all nice to each other.
That's
like
good.
we're all supportive. I haven't really run into issues with people being super mean, at least in my opinion.
That's good.
Yeah. We're
But
all
as
pretty nice to each other.
Right, but as a theater, in the theater department, like, you know, Amina and I are theater kids as well. Where there's theater, there's tea. You know what I'm saying?
That's so true.
So, like, what is some of the stuff that gets down in the theater department?
I'm not super heavy in with the tea. Like, I don't really know a whole lot. I should have thought about this beforehand, before I got here. Some good stories. There was this one kid who's graduated who used to just, like, make his way around the freshmen and would just, like, every year he would just, like, hit on as many freshmen as he could and, like, sleep with them and then, like, move on to the next freshman.
What the?
Yeah, there's one of those.
Wow.
The legendary straight boy of the theater department.
Yep. Yep. Oh my god. I should talk about you know who.
Yes.
Oh
My god.
Yes, please. That's okay. That was
So
promising.
there's this one guy. This is my dating history. There's this one guy who I knew before coming to Charleston because we had been to several theater competitions in high school and, like, seen each other there.
Okay.
I had no idea he went to the College of Charleston.
Yeah.
This was that class that I talked about previously, stage combat, that I was not supposed to be in.
Oh, right. Okay.
I walked in, and he was in that class, and I was like, holy shit, it's that guy. And so then we decided to do the first project together, and we got really close, and he started, like, you know, acting super nice to me, and wanting to take me out. And I was thinking it was all great, and then I stage managed my first show that he happened to be cast in for center stage, and opening night of that show, like, nothing had really changed between us, but opening night of that show, the director came to me because she knew about this thing that we had, and she was like, hey, just thought you should know, I heard today that he's dating so-and-so, another girl in the theater department, who I knew that he'd had history with. She was like, yeah, I heard today that they're back on. And I was like, oh, shit, okay.
Wait, who told you this?
The director of the show. She was one of my friends, because it was all student run. So
oh,
it wasn't
okay.
like a
I thought it was like this
director.
weird adult
No,
that was
not like a
in on the drama.
director. It was student run. Yeah, so I was like, oh, shit, okay. So then I talked to him about it, and he was like, oh, like, yeah, we are. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. A few months pass, they break up. So then he's like, can I, like, start talking to you again or whatever? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then, like, 2 months later, he hasn't said anything to me, but I hear from Amina. This is the first time Amina and I had ever met. Or, like, the second time that we had ever met. I was like, oh, I was just hanging out with so-and-so before I came here. And Amina was like, that person? And I was like, yeah, why? And Amina was like, oh, he's dating my roommate. They just started dating. And
Wait,
I was like...
one of the roommates that are here now?
No.
No.
Okay.
I was like, what? So then I talked to him about that. Same thing happened. And
Wait, you're also missing another integral part. Not only was he dating my roommate, and also, like, seeing Kat at the same time. So that night, Kat and I were hanging out. We had another friend of ours, and she was like, yeah, when we had the opera, he showed up and he brought me, like, a dozen roses.
What?
Because we went on, like, one date, like, a few months before, and then he showed up at the opera with, like, a dozen roses after I, like, ghosted him after that one date, and he was like, I'm just, like, in love with you, like, you're so cool, like, please, like, date me again.
What?
As he's seeing Kat and also in a relationship with my roommate.
So you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's the theater department tea that I have. Just
That's
about
great.
those people.
Yeah, that's great. That's yeah, that's that's how it gets crazy sometimes in theater.
Yeah.
Would you say that as far as like meeting people goes, you're able at Charleston to get out there and meet people easily? Is it something that comes naturally? Like
Yeah, especially when there's in-person classes back. That's a big factor. Yeah, there's tons of like community and like just school events that you can go and you can meet people at. And it's really not hard. It's not that difficult to meet people here for sure.
Awesome. What kind of school events do they do at Charleston?
I don't know, because I never really. I have my friends. I don't need to go seek out more people. That's just me. But I don't know. Like I feel like they have like, especially like during like back to like the first few weeks of like fall semester, they have like a lot of like get-togethers, like
Weeks of welcome.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, but they have those.
Yeah.
And they play like games and shit. I don't know, but they're like really, they're really active about trying to get you at least like socialized with the rest of the people at the school.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you? So are your friends that your friend group that you're talking about, were they high school friends or?
Most of them, yeah. One of them was my roommate from sophomore year, though. But I do have my friends that I've known since high school. These are the people I live with.
Nice.
But yeah.
So that might be an appeal of Charleston if you live in South Carolina specifically. That you're gonna have friends here.
Yeah.
And you
For
might be
sure,
able
no.
to. What about you? Did you like?
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not really friends with anybody I was friends with from Greenville now. I mean, I am.
Did you start with them though, or?
No. I came here and I wanted nothing to do with Greenville. So I was just friends with my roommates at first. I lived in a 4-person room. And then as I got more involved in the theater department, the arts management department, I did some stuff in the music department. And that's how I built my friend group. And then just, friends of friends and going through that.
Nice.
But I was going to say one thing that brought Amina and I together. You were talking about school activities to socialize. Amina and I are the rightful winners of the Harry Potter trivia that they held. They were giving away tickets to Universal Studios. And
damn.
Yeah, and we should have won.
But you didn't. What happened?
Well, you tell it.
Well, so they're having these trivia questions, and Kat, you understand, Kat and I studied hard.
We studied.
Yeah. Can I quiz you?
Yeah, go for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the person that ratted on the DA?
It was Cho Chang.
It was Cho.
It actually wasn't.
No,
in the movies, it was Cho Chang.
In the movies, it was Cho Chang, but in the book, it was her friend, Millicent.
Yeah,
or
it was.
something like that.
That was a trick question because it was different in the movie.
No, I know. And in that trivia, Kat and I, because Kat has a lot of movie knowledge, and I have a lot of book knowledge, and we still studied up, but when we got there, it was all movie stuff.
Yeah, she said it was. Well, that's where we went wrong.
Yeah.
She said it was movie only trivia, and one of the answers, half the people answered with the book answer. And so
it was where's that snake from?
It was where's Nagini from? Because
not Nagini, it was the snake in the first one.
The snake in the first one. Because in the movies it's Burma, and in the books it's Brazil.
Damn, y'all really studied.
We knew. You don't understand, Kevin.
And half the people turned in the book answer, and they were like, oh well, so many people turned it in, we'll just accept it. No! Do not accept it. If you say it's movie only, do not accept book answers.
So you lost because of that?
No. We lost because
that was one of them.
Yeah. Well, there's another question was what color was Harry's sweater in the
They gave us that one though, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but they were I had to fight for it. It was in the first one, right?
What color was his sweater? His Christmas sweater. What color was it?
It was the correct answer was red, and we put down maroon because it was more maroon.
It wasn't.
Maroon is red.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I said, and when they said, oh, the correct answer is red, I was like, well, we put on maroon. Will you accept that answer? And they're like, no, it's not red. And I'm like,
What?
maroon is red. Maroon, that's our school color. You're telling
Yeah.
me that's not red?
Yeah.
And so they
Yep.
took it.
That's
but
good.
What got it was because, well, we had a perfect score. I mean,
Yeah, we
basically.
did. We had a perfect score.
And then there had to be a tiebreaker between us and 3 other groups that were playing.
Yeah.
And the tiebreaker was how many minutes long is the Chamber of Secrets movie?
Oh my god.
And we did not get close to that. Because
I
it's like,
have
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's not
Yeah.
even about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
That's just the...
True.
Like, what am I supposed to remember? Run times now?
Yeah, like...
Might we say the people who were in the finale with us
They
answered
cheated.
Brazil on that one question, so
Yeah.
they should have been out. We should have been the only ones with a perfect score.
So many of them were cheating too, and like
They were
and
cheating.
like they have people walking around making sure you're not
Yeah.
cheating, and like one of the people walking around like literally came up to me like, you guys are like the only ones not cheating.
So why didn't they just kick everyone else out?
I know, and I was
Yeah.
like,
I guess they want customers, but
it was so annoying, and we didn't win those tickets, and I'm really upset.
what?
What we truly won was friendship.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That was the
after
first
that-
time
Yeah.
we'd ever hung out one-on-one.
Nice.
Yeah, we had never we never hung out before that. I mean, we did like other people.
Yeah.
So we were just like our friends. We were just friends because we had the same friends.
Yeah.
But then
Gotcha.
after that, it was just like, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah,
Can't
I
get
mean,
rid of me.
No.
so you can come and win friendship in Charleston, but you can't win Universal tickets.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
But
Apparently not.
that's cool that you had trivia. Like, where's that? Like,
That was in just like it was in Stern. It was like one of the student like.
Just
Oh.
like a student center.
It was run by the Cougar Activities Board. So the
Yeah.
Cougar Activities Board like creates like the school events to be like mixers or like this thing. Whatever.
gotcha. Okay, so that's cool that it was a school event though, and then they
Yeah.
were giving out for like school.
They were giving out like other prizes too. We didn't get those. I was so mad.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Because we came in last because we didn't know how long
Yeah.
it was.
I think-
Unforgivable.
Yeah, we've covered a great amount. I mean, we
Yeah.
covered like like what you guys like about your departments, your majors, stuff like how the students are, how the professors are, how the people are, and ghost stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
So now just kind of like passing it off to you guys, like, is there anything else that you feel like you want to say about Charleston or that you've been dying to get out somewhere or just, rant or say anything about Charleston?
I don't have anything specific, I gotta say.
I just hate the roads. I've already said that.
Yeah.
The roads are horrible. You cannot drive. It's really bad.
Do you like the campus itself?
The campus is beautiful. I do. And I really love that it's downtown. That's something that you don't get at a lot of other colleges. I think that's really convenient because there's like stores everywhere for whatever you need. Everything's within walking distance. And it's just really beautiful. And it's really historic and it's a really cool place to live.
Awesome.
Just not forever.
Yeah. Is it college town? Yes? No?
I would say so, yeah. Not during the summertime. During the summertime, everyone leaves. But yeah, definitely when school is in session, I'd say it's a college town.
Interesting.
I would say it's a good mix.
Yeah, because it seems like there are like a lot of people that are just living like we saw somebody walking the other day, and I was like, wow, this person's just like going home, like they just live here,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
I know that's a very normal thing, but I was like, I don't know.
No, I mean like my neighbors is literally like just a family.
Yeah.
Like they have like teenage kids and
Yeah.
stuff.
They're just
And,
used to people going to college around here or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
like the guy that lives across from us, like he's been living here his whole life.
Yeah,
Wow.
in that house.
Wow. Yeah. Let's imaginary clink if you're down to
For sure.
Universi-Tea. Since I'm sorry we don't have tea for you. Clink.
okay.
It's
Clink.
okay.
There you go. And thank you guys so much.
Of
course.
course. Yeah.
All right.
Word.
That's a wrap. And that was the Charleston episode of Universi-Tea.
Yeah, that was it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was scary. Hopefully you learned a lot about Charleston too, if you're thinking about going there or stopping by someday.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully you have a good Halloween too.
Yeah, happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time. I'm Kevin Kaufman,
And I'm Harry Fletcher.
and you just got
Pranked.
You just got teed up.
You just got wrecked. See you later.
Get wrecked.
Thank you for listening.
Bye. Learn how them schools be with Universi-Tea. Tea time with Kevin and Harry.